Welcome back. I am so glad you are here. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day, night, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time of day it is. I hope it's a great one. So today we have a new cross-stitch from SevenGreat, and they reached out to me and asked me if I'd like to try this out, and I said of course I would love to. So this says it's 100% cotton, although I'm sure you can't read that, but it says 100% cotton, and on the back of the box it has all of your dimensions, sizes. It shows you that it's a stamped cross stitch with the various symbols on it, and it shows you that for this particular color you're going to use this. So this is the basic instructions: how to divide your threads, how to thread, what the cross stitch looks like, how to do a simple cross stitch. So you got 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. It shows you how to do a basic back stitch, and it shows you how to start and stop your threads when you're doing your cross stitch. So let's open this up. Well, first let's turn it over and see what we have. So this is absolutely a beautiful landscape, and we'll see how big it is. Oh, it says 82 by 61 centimeters. This says 11 count, but this says it's an aida 14, but this gives you the dimensions if you were doing an 11 count or a 14 count. This also shows you that the thread can be divided up, and it'll tell you inside the instructions how many threads are needed. Now this particular cross stitch is made by Spring and sold by SevenGreat. So let's open her up. So first we have the basic instructions on this sheet of paper, and this is not tear resistant, so okay, be careful with that, but the pattern should be tear resistant. So this gives you all the instructions in English, and on the box the instructions are Chinese. So if you read Chinese, you're good with the box. If you don't read Chinese, read the sheet. And it says fold the fabric in half by lengthwise to begin finding the center. But this is a counted cross stitch. That would only be for a counted cross stitch that you would need to find the center. So this is a stamped cross stitch, so you can start anywhere you want. Now these are the stamps on these aidas are water soluble, so if you get them wet they're going to disappear, and so I suggest trying not to get it wet unless you want to do it as a counted cross stitch, and then you're welcome to do that. The paper pattern will have that on it as well. So it says every graph has numbers and symbols. Each number or symbol represents the floss with certain colors. And y'all, you may or may not want to take a photo of that, a snapshot, and for later reference. So it talks about there are labels for each one that says if it's a half stitch, a full stitch, a quarter stitch, or a back stitch. I'm not sure what's in this one yet. We will find out. It says note the floss in this kit is 6-strand cotton floss. So when you're ready to fold the floss, or use it about 50 centimeters in length of each floss to prevent the thread from knotting. So it says the color pattern does not equal the real color of the floss. Be sure to use the number or symbol from the printed pattern to find corresponding floss with the colors. It says always work in the same directions. Do not pull the threads too tightly so that you get even stitches. I'm just paraphrasing. So, and then it goes on for clean and care. And on the other side, it says feel free to find a number or symbol from the pre-printed fabric and start wherever you want to. So these are just the basics of how to start a cross stitch, how to do a cross stitch, how to finish it up. So it's always good, make sure you read these pamphlets before you start any project. So let's go in here. And first thing I'm going to pull out is the print, the printed pattern, so we can look at it first. And y'all, this is a very large one, so it comes in actually like almost like a book, if you see. So there are quite a number of pages in this one. There are 90 colors, which is quite a bit, so I'm excited. It should give a lot of beautiful color variation and definition. It has here the different numbers for the thread. It gives you, the middle number is the number of the, like you have 90 colors. This is right here is going to say color 90. This is number 54, and the DMC thread number is 931. Again, the box says it is 100% cotton, so we will check that out. So let's take this off. If I can take the staple out. There we go. So that is that. Now this does have a couple of colors that are done in combination. Like you'll take number 12, which is this one right here, and number 70, which is this one over here, and you'll combine them. And that will actually give you quite a bit of shading. So that is pretty cool. Down here it gives you the number of the page on your paper pattern. So there's going to be 8 pages to this pattern. So it's going to be pretty large. So let's look at the pattern. Almost looks like a book. I got to figure out which one is number 1. So these are the different patterns, and they are a little bit small, but on the paper pattern, but that's okay because this is a very large pattern, and if they made them any bigger, it would probably be like 20 pages, and you really don't want to deal with 20 pages. On the bottom it says page 2, which would mean that this was the page you were working with. If you can see how that looks. This is that page. So you have a reference guide as to where you're going. The symbols are very easy to read, although I will say if you have magnifying glasses it always helps, so you can see better. If you don't, that's fine too. I tend to use magnifying glasses when I'm doing smaller patterns. It's just easier for me. So this is also not tear resistant paper, which I'm actually a little surprised with because usually these patterns are tear resistant. So make sure to be a little careful when you are handling the actual paper pattern. And you'll see there's each page. So this is page 5, page 6, page 2, page 3, and page 4. And this is page 7 and page 8. So there we go. And this is the paper copies. So if you don't use this when you are doing this cross stitch and you just use it as the printed pattern on the fabric, go ahead and keep this, because you might want to do it again, maybe in a different size, or do it a second time, and you can just buy your own threads according to these DMC numbers, and then you'll still have a good pattern. So that is a plus. I always do that if I possibly can. So there's nothing on the back of that page. And let's go to the next part of our kit. So this is our fabric with our printed cross stitch on it. Open that up. And I do throw this away. I do not eat. Of course, we all know that. But you just never know. I gotta mention it. So, because this is a huge, huge canvas, I am only going to be able to show you part of it at a time, I believe. Yeah. So first off, I'm going to show you the edges of the fabric are stitched, so you don't have to worry about stitching it, and it prevents your fabric from fraying, which you don't want this fabric to fray when you're working on it. So that definitely helps. It also, on the very top, gives you the size. It is 39 centimeters width and 281 high. So that means it's 394 stitches going this way, and it's 281 stitches going up and down. This right here is just the number for the cross stitch number for the company. It has your instructions in Chinese, but it also has them on the side. And y'all, I've never had one. This says spring. It's 100% cotton fabric, which is really nice because it's not super stiff. It's hard to work with super stiff fabric. So that is great to know. Now, as far as the thread, I'm not really sure yet. So along the side, it has all of your symbols, which indicate what colors to use. And you'll see there are 90. I'm having to do this a little bit sideways because these are bigger than, this fabric is way bigger than my table. And then it goes down along the bottom too, because there are so many colors. It's giving you the rest of these going down the side. And let me fold this up real quick so I can show you these down here on the bottom. These are your special colors that are actually a mix of several colors together to create shading. So that is very cool. Now, let's look at the print on these. So the printed, pattern part of it, they are very defined. They're easy to read. If you can read those, very easy to read color. The symbols are easy. The symbols are centered in the squares, in the cross-stitch squares, so they're not all going to be all catty-wumpy, so you'll know exactly which stitch goes where. If sometimes you'll get one that's printed off, and the symbols are not centered in the cross-stitch square that you need to use, and it's hard to tell where those stitches go. But that is not a problem with this. This has very good centering in the print. So as you can see, and here on the bottom it says 281 stitches on height. Starts from 10 to 281, so that's up and down how many stitches there's going to be. And then going with across, it starts with 0 stitches and runs all the way to 394 stitches width. So you'll have a good idea of what you're working with. So let's go on to the next part. So next, let's look at these threads. Now it does come with your standard 4 needles for this size cross stitch, the Aida size, so that should work perfectly. And here are all these beautiful colors. They are, I think they are cotton polyester. I'm not sure. They might be complete cotton, but they look very good quality. And you'll see there's no knots where your thread was started and stopped during production, which I hate when I get that. But if you do get something like that, then you just trim it and trim the knot out and use the excess. So there are 3 things of thread, and each one is numbered corresponding to the numbers on your pattern. So number 45 here would be number 45 here. This is the DMC number, and these are the pictures in the pattern. And if you want, you can actually go through and put these symbols on this. What I do is I just color them in and make them look like they're supposed to look. So, or you can just reference this number according to this number. Either way. So here are the second thing of colors, and y'all, these are such gorgeous bright colors. I love this. Very good quality. They don't feel rough, anything like that. And then the last thing of colors. So absolutely gorgeous colors. And I may or may not do to show you how I do the stitching on this, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If somebody really wants me to, I will do kind of a how-to, although I do have another how-to do these cross stitches. I can do one of how I read them, or how I had somebody ask me how to jump from one area to another on the pattern. Say if you had pinks here and you had pinks there, I'll show you how to do that. Just let me know if you want to see a video about that. This is a complete kit, except for one thing that I don't see is a needle threader, but you can pick those up anywhere. Walmart, any sewing store, Amazon, wherever, and they're super cheap. You can get one ranging from anywhere from a super cheap one from like $1 to a really super nice one that $5 or $6, depending on where you go. And this company does have those. So if you need one, go ahead and order you one while you order your cross-stitch kits. So this particular kit is $32 and some change. So if you are interested in it, I will leave my discount code and a link to this product and to their main shop, so that you can check out all their products, not just this one. So that discount code will be listed under SevenGreat. So make sure you check that out, and if you're going to buy something from them, make sure to use that discount code. So if you have any questions, any comments, I hope you love this. Go ahead and drop them down in the description box, and I hope y'all have a fabulous day stitching.